Welcome to episode 270 of the Emergent Gamer Podcast. My name is Felix Hergood. I got Neo Aoshi over here.
How you doing?
And we got our lovable man bear, Trip Zero.
That's me, I guess. That's me, Trip Zero. What's going on?
I don't know why I said that.
Don't apologize. That's what it is.
I don't know why my body just rolled in. My body just wanted to go there.
We're here. Here we are.
So we're here on 270, and it's kind of a short week. Not a lot of crazy news, but there was one point that we want to discuss probably later in the show. We're going to unpack a little bit related to CD Projekt Red and their last minute announcement that we'll get into the details. I'm not really sure. Did they announce it or did somebody discover it within the company?
It was reported on.
It was okay. So it was like a story, and then they had to make an official announcement. But
we'll unpack that.
Yeah, we'll unpack that later.
But coming in right under the gun of news, it's a great conversation to have, especially now more than ever. So
yeah, because CD Projekt Red, basically they announced that they're doing a last minute crunch to push out the game Cyberpunk 2077. And they originally had stated something to the effect of they weren't going to be doing crunch, or that wasn't a policy or something that they did. We'll get into that later.
Felix, I got a question for you before we get started.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. It's video game related. Did you see the change to Spider-Man that they made today in the video game for the remaster?
That I didn't see at all. You mentioned it and said you wanted to talk about it, and I hadn't seen it.
I'm just going to ask you. If you can look in the Discord real quick, if it's at all possible, and look at that picture.
Okay.
I'm going to actually, and I think I can post it in the chat if my program works nicely. Nope, that's not it. That's a Phil DeFranco link. Don't look at that. But nope, that image didn't carry over. But if you scroll up a little bit in our games chat, you can see they remodeled Spider-Man's face for Spider-Man.
Let me see this shit.
They made him look like a weird Tom Holland-like character.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So in the remaster, he's look totally different. I wanted to hear your quick opinion on that.
Oh.
And they even
do you not like that? I mean, it.
I think it changes the whole vibe that they were going for of the character, because he looks just as young as Miles now. If you look at Miles his current side by side, and he's supposed to be like a mentor figure to Miles, but now it looks weird because it's still Yuri Lowenthal's voice and his motion capture. Brian Inthar, the director of the game, said we did this because it actually helps with the mocap. It actually fits Yuri's facial structure better, and we just decided to go for a different vibe for Peter.
So Yuri just looks exactly like Tom Holland? Is that what we're...
No, the model is somebody else. The model for the character is some other... I don't know his name.
The fucking model I'm looking at looks like fucking digital Tom Holland. It's almost like they're trying to somehow indirectly tie this Spider-Man universe, which pretty much we've established is separate from any other Spider-Man universe, to the films. Almost like they're trying to draw more people in by making them look more like Tom Holland. Like having Spider-Man, the logo on there, isn't enough. They need to add extra brand power.
Right. Yeah, so the original face actor was John Bubenak, and this one is Ben Jordan.
Just a different person.
Face actor. Just a different person.
I mean, I would have to play it to ascertain
same.
if it's affecting how I feel about the story. I mean, I didn't interpret him as being old Peter that
he's supposed to be an older Peter.
Is he supposed to be older? I mean, was he?
Yeah, in college / post college.
In college, post college. I don't know. Maybe well, I'd have to see it when I play it. But this is going to be him in obviously.
I'm still going to replay it.
This is going to be what he looks like in the Miles game, or the Miles.
And it's his whole model in the Spider-Man remaster.
This game, this remaster that's going to come out.
Yes.
I'd have to play it.
I'm gonna replay it, and I'm sure after an hour
you're buying the remaster. You're going for that?
Oh yeah, you buy it. It's like an add-on attachment for the Miles game.
Oh,
yeah,
it comes with the Miles game. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like an extra $20 or something if you want the remaster.
That's fine.
But yeah, I'm gonna totally do that, and I'm gonna replay it because I love that game. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, you felt about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it until now, but that's interesting.
That came out this morning and it rocked.
It's like back in the '80s when you're watching a sitcom and you're having a great time, and then suddenly they recast the sister, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened, man?"
Was it
Rose?
No,
multiple shows did. They did it with the mom, but Roseanne did it with Becky, the sister. Like they had two Beckys, and it fucked everybody.
You know what I
up.
like? You know what I liken this to? I liken this to Sony jumped in. Sony Pictures said, "Well, Tom Holland is our Spider-Man now, so we just went ahead and remastered the Raimi Spider-Man movies and just put Tom Holland's face over Tobey Maguire's throughout the whole movie. Just CGI'd his face over, and now you get to experience Tom Holland in those movies."
They're doing that online with that face
deep fakes.
Yeah, what's it called? It's called
deep fakes.
Deep fakes. Yeah, where they're deep faking, but they're of course they're doing it for porn and whatever, but they're also doing it. They're doing it for they're deep faking like old scenes from old movies. You can find like a deep fake. Like I found this was amazing, but it was all these scenes.
Back to the Future.
No, the one
they did a Back to the Future one.
Little known fact that not many people realize. The original person, the ideal person that they wanted to play Iron Man in the original Iron Man movie from 2008 was not Robert Downey Jr. He was like a third or a fourth choice. The first choice was Tom Cruise. And I found a recut where they also got a voice actor to do the lines. I found a crazy supercut from all these different scenes that Robert Downey Jr. played in all these different movies, like Avengers and Iron Man and all that shit, where they recut it with the face thing, and it's Tom Cruise, and they had a Tom Cruise like impersonator do the voice, and it was really good. It was creepy, man. It was super creepy. But he was their original. They wanted him. They were going to try and get him. There's even rumors that he might come back in some way. He might actually play Iron Man in some kind of weird project. A Marvel project coming up where it's like an alternate reality where he's playing Iron Man. Like that's
you know what
is crazy.
Is interesting though. Yeah. This sounds like a great conversation for the post show, which you can listen to if you hang out on twitch.tv/emergent_gamer on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we're talking.
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to talk about the Spider-Man face change.
I just had to drive a truck right into that brick wall. I had no other way to do it.
Yeah, you're fine.
We're gonna be here talking about Tom Cruise all night.
We could end up talking about Tom Cruise all night long.
Trip, video games.
What games did you play this week? Anything?
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is what I have been playing this whole week.
Oh shit!
Believe it or not.
What's that like? How's that game?
Well, it started from a little like self-imposed nostalgia trip from when I was spending some time working out in California. I remembered when I played Watch Dogs 2 how accurately they got the city of San Francisco and all the surrounding areas, Marin County, Sausalito, Silicon Valley, and I was like, I just want to like drive around in this game. So I was doing it. I was just vibing in the city in San Fran, loving it, remembering, what it was like. And then I was like, when does Legion come out? So then I looked up Watch Dogs Legion's release date, and it was October 29th. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play this fresh on the computer, on the PC, fresh playthrough, start to finish, and stream it. So that's what I've been doing. Having a lot of fun with this game.
That's
totally
really
from
cool.
Scratch. Mm-hmm.
Is the game like a good improvement over the first one?
I never played the first one.
You never played the first one? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I played the first one.
You did a lot of Watch Dogs. You streamed a lot of that, Felix.
Yeah, I played the Watch Dogs in full, and then when Watch Dogs 2 was announced, the day it was announced, I was live playing Watch Dogs. And I got like so many follows. I ended up getting like 50 follows that day, like people just coming into the stream because they just wanted to see somebody playing Watch Dogs. I enjoyed Watch Dogs 2 for the couple of weeks that I played it, and then I got distracted by something. It's not that I had a problem with the game. You know, I like Ubisoft games. I play all of them and enjoy them. I just never got back to it. I never did a round robin to find my way back to it. But maybe I'll do that one day, Trip. It's on my mind. I think of it every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm in the shower.
I did get a copy
shower
of
thought.
Watch Dogs 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft gave away a free copy of Watch Dogs 2 on PC, like during their last conference or whatever, and I have it now.
I did. Another funny story about that. That's why I was like, I'm just going to stream this on the PC because I got that free copy from logging in. Well, remember that day they had login issues and they were like, oh, we're sorry if you can't authenticate. Like if you did, we know you did. It's in your account. If you didn't, we'll let you know how to get your copy. I thought I signed in and was fine. Turns out it never happened. So I didn't have a copy of Watch Dogs 2 in my library. So I start Googling like support articles on Ubisoft's website, trying to find a way I can get this game, trying to find like a customer service number that I could go and just like, you know, talk to someone gently about getting my copy of the game, you know, really carrying my way into getting a copy for myself. Then I found a support article saying like, mentioning the Epic Game Store download. And I was like, this wasn't an Epic Game Store download. This is a Ubisoft Store download. Then I saw the dates were like some random dates last week. And then I realized that, oh my God, this exact day that I'm trying to find my copy of this game is also a week that just happens to be where Watch Dogs 2 was the free game of the week in the Epic Game Store.
On Epic. Mm-hmm.
So I was able to just scoop it serendipitously still for free. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to pay like $50 for this. I could hook up my PlayStation again and play it that way, but I kind of want the mouse and keyboard. And then the universe was like, here's your copy.
There you go.
You're meant to have this copy. Here you go. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Thanks, Epic Games.
Oh, so you would have had to. Sorry, I missed the point. You would have had to play it on the.
Would have had
on the PS4.
Well, the point was that like I thought I had this free copy from when they gave it away. I missed that.
Yeah.
And then just when I went to look for it, it happened to be for free on Epic. So it was perfect. It's perfect timing.
Yeah,
Like if I checked 2 days later, I would have missed it. It was wild.
Very fortuitous is the word.
Very fortuitous. Very serendipitous.
The universe smiled in your favor.
Uh-huh. But yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
having a great time playing Watch Dogs. It's so much fun, man. They go so heavy-handed with like the hacker motif. It's like a really, really terribly written movie that you just like kind of love watching.
You mean
some characters rub you the wrong way, but you're just like, hey, like this is just like literally. We're talking about popcorn movies and really popcorn
like,
content earlier in the stream, and this is it. This is like the popcorn hacker video game.
I was gonna say it's like a terrible movie about hackers, kind of like the 1995 movie Hackers,
called Hackers
with
yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
Jolie.
Are you wondering where this whole series got its goddamn inspiration?
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, that's where it came from.
Yeah. And they take like the anonymous tropes and just like hype that up, and they mix it with like this little like almost like a Saw video, like an anonymous video, and also the Saw guy, and it's like, here's what you got to do, you know, we're gonna fucking attack your city, and it's like it's just so aggressive and
no, I would say it's a combination of Hackers and the one where Natalie Portman is bald.
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. Thank you.
That's a great point. There's a lot of V for Vendetta vibes.
Combination of those two things.
It's not overt, but it's like the oppressive government vibe is definitely very V for Vendetta.
Now, the most important thing that I want to ask is, did you notice and feel the contradiction that the story does with how you have to play the game? Like, when I first started playing it, the thing that bothered me the most, but I did, I still played it, whatever. But just something I pointed out on our show before was the main character, I forgot his name, keeps going on and on about how he wants to be peaceful about it. But when I first started the gameplay, when I began the game, seemed to force me into scenarios where I had to shoot people.
Does he? Because I can't remember any dialogue.
I just remember him being kind of like the impression I got. So I don't remember dialogue, but I remember this impression I got. Like he seemed like he wanted to approach the world of hacking with more of peaceful motivations. And then as you're playing the game, you start off with nothing. So you have to kind of like build up your hacking repertoire or your arsenal. and as you build it up, you get more things that allow you to be more passive in your gameplay, or more, not passive, but more covert and stealth where you can take out people in like kind of minor ways. But when you first start, you don't have tools, and your only way to get through certain situations is kill the dudes and then leave.
Well, you do start with a stun gun. You start with a stun gun, and then you have this like melee golf ball on a bungee cord, wherever the fuck
it's a cue ball or like an 80 ball or something.
I don't remember well enough, but I remember I got the impression that they seem to contradict each other. What he's saying in the cutscenes contradicted how I had to play the game, unless I just didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up killing a lot of people.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong in the interpretation. I just don't remember from any of the times that I played it this week a cutscene where he was like, we got to be peaceful, we have to like calmly stroll in there. They're all about blowing the shit the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the people he's with.
They're talking about it,
but I thought he was pushing back on the narrative that they have to be violent in their attempts.
Unless that happens later in the story.
No,
I've not seen that.
For some reason, I remember it being from the very beginning, and that's why I was critical of it. I was like, wait, okay, if I'm supposed to not be violent, why do I not have any of the tools unlocked that would allow me to do this in a like covert and peaceful way?
I mean, and if anything, he should be radicalized and maybe leaning towards violence, because the entire first mission of the game is you breaking into a CTOS server farm to erase
I remember that.
your backstory because he went to prison because someone forged evidence against him. So
I just don't remember. One of these days I'll replay that game and I'll be able to explain and articulate.
Well, I'm gonna I'll keep an ear out for those like undertones to see if you're right about that. But I mean, you are right. The game is a classic like sandbox where you can approach an objective in any of a bunch of ways, like whatever tools you have available to you, how you've chosen to upgrade your character, whatever's in the environment. Of course, you can do whatever you want, essentially. And then next that with like the hacking mechanic to control cameras and like construction equipment and distract people and drive cars and all kinds of stuff. Man. Yeah,
I love in that one.
It's a lot of fun.
I love in that one how you can control the automated car systems. Like that's so cool, man. The auto drive systems.
Yeah.
You just hack a car and it starts driving.
I'll go hide somewhere and I'll make it a game to like kill everyone in like a secure zone, but just with like the environment, like a gas pipe I'll burst, or I'll drive a car into the wall. Just like fun little ways to like narrow the playing field. Then I'll just tase the last person.
Oh, from the original game, there were always like bonus points or something you got if you did kills with environmental objects. Like I remember there were like. Those electronic like barriers that like rise up when you're driving out of a parking garage or whatever. I remember that you could like, hack that as you're driving out of a garage, and you could take down it was a type of takedown where you would take down a car that smashed into that, at the very last minute. Cool stuff like that.
Bonus points if you pop it up when they drive right over it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and they pop in the air and stuff and flip over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that aspect of the game was always cool, and they doubled down on that. In Watch Dogs 2, to my understanding.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm very ready for Legion. So.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll probably be getting a free copy of Legion now that I snagged one of those 3080s. So
was it one of those bundles, games bundled?
Yeah, you get a copy of it. So I guess I'll be playing that game too. We'll see. I liked Watch Dogs 1. Like I didn't play 2, but I really enjoyed the whole like things were manipulative. You can manipulate things in the city. It was like just a more fun playground for like a GTA style game, right? Like they just give you all these little fun toys to work with. And they code it with like your little hacking tool. And
it did stuff. It did awesome. Some aspects of the open world driving way better than GTA. Like
I think people were complaining about it, but I actually liked the driving in Watch Dogs.
Well, the amount of tools you had at your disposal when you were trying to evade police were superior, and how the police like functioned in trying to capture you was superior to the AI in Grand Theft Auto. So they really put a lot of focus on that too. And I'm sure that they the way Ubisoft is, they fucking cherry pick everything from other games. Like, I guarantee you, because that game came out in 2014 and GTA 5 had released in 2013. So I guarantee you they were playing it. They had their staff, their QA people, playing GTA to like see if there were any features in there that they could figure out how to mine out of there. I mean, or at least just like replicate. Or they just wanted to look at how GTA did certain things, and then they emulated some of it. I think. I got that impression. Definitely got that.
My favorite thing that Watch Dogs 1 did, which I wish they do this with more games, but this got really popular around the time Watch Dogs 1 was out. But they had a companion app for like mobile phones, and specifically for Watch Dogs, you could have a friend log into your game, and you could play like a mini game. Well, not really a mini game, like. You would be running from the cops and stuff, and he would control the cops.
I remember that. Yeah.
And all the pursuing factors that were chasing you.
You'd be doing it on like your iPad.
I think you could support a friend too, like control a drone was part of that. Like there was a whole lot of like
that was also another thing.
Mobile integration. It was cool. You know who
Division
else?
1 was going to have that, and they scrapped that whole idea when Division 1 came out.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, Ubisoft went on a slow ramp of like mobile integration. Like for Black Flag 2, you could see your in-game map, your live in-game map on your phone, on your iPad. It was great on an iPad. Like I could have the map up always while I was playing, see islands. It would update like every couple seconds where I was, and like I could plan my game without having to be in the menus all the time. And that was really cool.
Yeah, but then
you could also control your routes. Like you could play that mini game on the mobile app too.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you could send your like resupply missions and your fleet and everything out to do that little stuff.
But then they kind of they got very excited and blew their load all over everybody with Assassin's Creed Unity when they decided that, this mobile shit is so cool and so productive and people love it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put whole parts of the game only in the mobile app to force to force people to get certain treasure chests outside of the world of the map in their mobile shit, and people fucking like hit the fucking ceiling. Like that's part of why people hated Unity, because they took whole chunks of the game and put it in the goddamn mobile app. And then later had to completely retract all that. And they were like, okay. And so when I finally downloaded, like, remember it was a while later that I ended up playing Unity. It was long after they patched everything. I started finding these chests that were all over the map, and I'm like, community, it said something else with different color. It said community chest thing or whatever. I was reading on a forum that originally these were the chests that were outside the game in the mobile app, where you would have an exact map of the world, and you would have to play some kind of mini game independent of the game. And it pissed people off that they finally said, okay, we're just going to put these back into the main world of the game. And by the time I got to it, they were just a chest like any other chest that you would find in the world.
Right.
But they had a different name and a different color when I played it, and I thought that was so fucking weird. Like, why are these chests this different color? But that's because they were consigned to the mobile app at the game's release, and it pissed everybody off, dude.
Yeah, it definitely hit like a peak, and really since that time frame, there hasn't been mobile integration to that level. So it kind of like hit
Red Dead 2 did a map too. They did a map app, I think. Yeah.
Did they?
And that's the last one that I know of, or I can think of.
I didn't even think it went that far.
GTA 5 had a great one because it simulated the iPhone. It was called the iFruit app.
Yeah, it was like a banana. I think it was a banana and two apples.
Yeah,
it's the logo.
Looked like a dick and balls. And then that ended up being like a play on like Apple's operating system at that time. But it helped you like fuck around with some shit in the game. Like I think you could like play fetch with the dog, chop.
Right.
Like it was weird. But anyway.
But yeah. Felix, what have you been playing?
There's just one thing that I wanted to talk about, okay? And I rail about this kind of shit all the time. And, so Jay Prince, he and we play games together on a regular basis. And he reminded me that the Mafia Definitive Edition re-release is coming out. And I will say right here and right now that I don't have to play the game how they originally designed the game. It's a definitive re-release where they completely redid all the graphics. They even actually hired all new voice actors to play all the parts. It's insane. Like, this is a redo of a game that's made it better than all the previous games that existed, like that came out after the original title. So the original game came out I think in 2002 on maybe OG Xbox. This definitive edition that just came out recast all the characters, and so all the dialogue is read by new actors, which is really cool. And a lot of them are actors that are more relevant in current like mafia cinema and TV shows that exist now. Like a lot of them, you know, in 2002, Sopranos was out for 3 years, right? You know, so a lot of the actors that ended up playing in later seasons of The Sopranos and things like that are now casting the Mafia game, which is really cool. So I'm giving them props for their remake. It's beautiful. It's the best looking Mafia game I've seen, and I played some of Mafia 3 and pretty much all of Mafia 2. However, they included classic difficulty, right, which requires a trophy, and then they included easy, medium, and hard. Okay? Classic is like their original difficulty in the original game. Everything was fine until I got to a mission that is a fucking awful piece of shit. It is called The Race or something like that. You have to do a classic, like 1930s race car style race. And you can't complete this unless you win the race. And it is the hardest thing I've tried in a video game other than God of War. Give me God of War mode, right? This is so fucking hard, this race. And you can't progress in the story unless you finish it. I even said to Jay Prince, when you were young and played this game in 2002, because I never played the original Mafia in 2002, did you ever finish this game? And he said, no, hell no, I gave up on that shit. I said, on what mission? He's like, the race. Everyone quits on the race.
Oh my God.
This classic mode is exactly how it was in 2002, as shitty as it was then. And it is brutal.
Did you see the tweet from the official account of the developer, literally asking, "How'd you guys do on the race level?" or "How'd you guys do on the Grand Prix?" Or something?
So it's like
they know, they're self-aware about this.
They're completely aware that they made something that's there to simply torture people, and they're proud of it. And I just want to rail against it for 2 seconds because I'm just like, God damn. Now, in their defense, in this new game, you have 3 game modes. So I easily just turned off classic mode, and you can dynamically switch it as you play. I turned it off, switched it to easy, completed the race, and now I've moved on in the story. I'm fine with it. And I've made my peace with not getting all the trophies in this game because I'm never going to be able to complete that on classic. Never. Like, it's that fucking hard. I watched videos, like hours of videos of dudes trying to do it. And he's like, the one guy's like, well, there's a strategy for the second part, but pretty much it's luck on the first part. If you get through this and there's this many cars left in the race and you're at this race rank, at this point in the game, then you lucked through the beginning part. But it's really in the beginning when all the cars are bunched up that you have to get yourself to like a half decent position. And the guys that had successful videos where they completed it were able to get themselves to position 2 in the first little pack, like within the first 50 seconds to a minute of the race. And then after that, then you just hold your position and beat the first guy. But I literally, dude, I kept trying it. I tried it until 5 in the fucking morning to rally myself to position 2 in the beginning. And I just couldn't fucking do it. Not on classic.
Hey man, never say never.
I'm not, dude, no, this is not like Resident Evil remake where I was like, oh, this is cool. That's manageable, dude. Even on the hardest difficulties, you can manage Resident Evil 2. You can manage Resident Evil 3 remakes. Because they didn't just, take the old mechanics and put them in a new game. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is like just a copy and paste of the old shit. And it's brutal, dude. Yeah, anyone who knows, and the whole Mafia community, the meta of this is just fucking gross. Anyway.
Well, I think it's really cool that they recast the voices to make a more engaging.
That's what I'm saying. I'm complimenting the game, and I'm still playing, and I'm past that mission just if you're struggling on it and you're out there and you want to know, like you've been banging your head against it for weeks or whatever, and you still haven't completed it, just switch it to easy and let it go. Just let it go. There's no reason, man. Like, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack, whoever you are.
I can't believe
that's great advice. Just remember you telling the listeners out there that advice. I'm saying that without context or judgment. Just remember that.
No,
advice.
I've been getting better at it. I've been letting stuff
advice.
go. I told you I switched it to easy and then I went past it. But I wouldn't have done that.
I'm proud of you.
I'm
so
look,
proud of you.
In my defense, I did quit Gimme God of War mode. I didn't stay with it. I mean, I played it too long. I played it a full 2 days, which was insane. Yeah. That was stupid. Like, I don't know why I did that, because that
healthy decision.
I did not feel healthy at the end of the 2 days. I felt fucked up and like I felt real sick to my stomach after screaming for fucking 2 days straight at that bullshit.
Yeah, it'll do that to you.
Yo, we rarely ever call it the chat, but there is one thing that I need to add context to. Jay Prince says in the chat, "Rip Felix's table." Okay, I want to tell you right now, I didn't punch the table because of the Mafia race mission. I didn't punch the table at all during the Mafia race mission. I punched the table recently when I had to solo the goddamn daily ops in fucking Fallout. But I broke my table. My table's fucking broke. I'm not in half, but it will if I hit it again.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it will fucking. This table's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be real broke if I hit it as hard as I did the other night. But that's because when you go in and you play a game mode in the public world where there's other people and you expect the fucking team to load up with random people to help you, and they don't, and then you're just angry at the whole server. Like, fuck you assholes for not being there. Like, I needed to complete this thing. And because my friends were doing other things, and I respect my friends having busy lives and doing their own thing. But when I go into the public world, and I normally don't play in public, I normally play privately, and I go into the public world, and nobody fucking helps me. Fuck you, Fallout community, you pieces of shit.
That's your worst nightmare, dude.
Yeah, like, fucking help a guy when he's fucking trying to complete the daily ops. It's dickhead hard. Anyway. Sorry, that was my rant.
Anyway,
are we doing a segment now? Felix rants. Is that what we're doing?
Look, whether or not it's actually an acknowledged thing,
fucking happened again.
It's there.
Last week I was ranting like a motherfucker, and everyone thought it was hilarious. And now I'm fucking being a douche and ranting again. I'm sorry.
This is not a new segment. This is 270 segments. I just want to make that clear.
Show at this point. It's just the show.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's all right. Let's slide on into the news.
Let's
after that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Talk about what I was playing.
I'm sorry. I just literally was saying I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'll be quick. I don't have any kind of rant or anything like.
Sorry, I got thrown off.
I know, it's okay. So I've been playing the Mario 3D collection that was released, the limited run game that disappears after March for whatever reason. I guess it goes away in the warmer weather. That's a thing. So I've been like dipping into all these games, and I've never played Sunshine or Galaxy. I've beaten 64 multiple times, and I played it on this version. It's the game. Like it's literally the game. And even the second stick, how like the C rotation was like your camera.
That was your camera, yeah.
Yeah, so that is the right stick behaves like that still. So like even it just behaves like buttons. You hit the right button, it'll kind of move. It's not like an axis. It's not like the axis.
Yeah, it took the same mechanic, is what you're saying. With
Correct.
The sound effects too.
Yes. It just absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But the game plays exactly how you remember it, and I crushed the entire first floor in like one sitting, like because I just jumped in and just did it. Like I just
know where the stars are, what to do.
Yeah.
Sorry,
beat the people at the top of the hill, all that good shit.
Neo, I missed which of the Mario games is this? Sorry, Sunshine?
I'm talking about 64 right now.
Oh, 64. Yeah. Okay, so I did play that back in the day.
Yes. But I decided that I'm going to stream some games. I'm going to stream these games. I decided that I picked Galaxy as the one to stream because Sunshine, I wasn't on board with the whole water gun backpack thing, and they changed a lot of like Mario's movesets. Like he doesn't have the long jump anymore. He does like a belly flop dive that you can like hop on your belly. It's kind of different. They changed a lot of his movesets for this game, and I wasn't like too keen on like diving into that yet. I wanted to do Galaxy first because these levels all play with gravity, and these like individual like planets, like they share different gravitational poles, and it creates the craziest like platforming system when you're jumping from planet to planet, and all of a sudden this planet's pulling you. And
I love Galaxy. Galaxy's great.
Yeah, it's I never got a chance to play it. And visually, whatever they did to the game, I can't tell if it's like in its original form or whatnot, because I don't remember the original. Yeah. But it looks great. Like it looks like a slightly lesser version of Odyssey. Like pretty much.
The game did look really good on the Wii. Looked really good.
Art direction is fantastic. They have like a great shading on Mario. There's like a great art style to it, like more so than like
all like the space and the stars and the lights and planets. It made it all sparkly and cool and like shiny, and it was a great Mario game.
So these games are being just for clarity's sake. These games are being redone in the engine that was used to make Odyssey.
No. They are literally just ports. They're literally ports of these old games. Yeah.
They're being emulated in the collection,
pretty much,
which some people have an issue with. Like it keeps like 4x3 for Super Mario 64 stuff like that.
Right. Kinda. Yeah.
The hugest issue.
What did Galaxy come out on? The Wii.
The Wii.
The original Wii.
They did fix the aspect ratio of Galaxy, and they did expand the aspect ratio for Sunshine as well. So those are
Galaxy
16:9.
I don't know about GameCube's situation, but Galaxy was 16:9 because the Wii could be. That was an option on the console itself. So those games did get produced widescreen.
But quite honestly, like I'm having Nintendo with these Mario games, they know game design, man. Like they nail it, and experiencing Galaxy for the first time is like fantastic because these games like they just work and they feel great to play. And even though it's like weird and the game like all of a sudden I'm running upside down on this planet, but like what to do because you know how Mario moves now. Like it works. Like it all works. And every level I go to, I'm like, wow, this is really freaking creative. Like they fucking nailed it again. Like just like with Odyssey, like when experiencing Odyssey, it's like, wow, they made all these levels so cool and really fun to engage with and explore and be Mario and collect those stars, like that's all I want to say about it. Because
Nintendo's, they nail it, man. They really do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I've been playing on stream, and of course I've been playing Modern Warfare with the crew and played Valorant finally again. But yeah, Mario, man, that's a game right there, and I can't wait to play more of it. Really enjoying it.
Nice.
Now we can hit the news.
So like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, snuck right in at the buzzer for what to talk about this week. It has come to light that CD Projekt Red, Polish-based developer of The Witcher 3 and the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077, has asked their employees formally, and that's an important word, formally, has asked them formally to participate in crunch. They're asking everyone to work 6 days, essentially, being paid overtime. Those are Polish
the word
rules.
they used was mandatory, though.
That's what I'm saying. They are saying this has got to be the schedule now until launch. 6 days a week. You get a day off. We're back at it. One final push until the game is released. This has been controversial for a couple of reasons, primarily because the crunch conversation is always controversial in any industry, but especially in the gaming industry. And there are people on both sides of the issue, with very, very strong opinions. But also, this is almost like a double dip into controversy because the CEO of CD Projekt Red himself said last year they went to Kotaku. I think they asked for Jason Schreier specifically, and they were like, "We want to talk to you about how we are committed to zero crunch for this game." And then this news drops. Yesterday or today? I feel like it was today, or like late yesterday.
So they went out
late yesterday.
When did they seek him out? How long ago was that?
That was
last year.
Yeah,
last year. And Jason also tweeted after he posted the article. He's correcting some misinformation. Some devs have already been crunching on and off for at least for a year since the 2018 demo was revealed. And the crunch doesn't refer to just a few weeks of overtime; it's their culture. And that is essentially another article he posted. I actually missed this one, but yeah. So it's been still happening, even though CD Projekt went out of their way to approach Schreier and go, we want to tell you how we're correcting this behavior. And now they're saying it like out loud. And today, Adam Badowski, who I believe is let me make sure I get this his role right in the game. He is the head of the studio. Okay, he's the head of the studio, and he wrote quote tweeting Jason's article, saying the last 6 weeks are our final sprint on the project we spent our lives on, something we care for deeply. The majority of the team understands that push, especially in light of the fact we've just sent the game to CERT, and every day brings us visibly closer to shipping the game we want to be proud of. This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, but everyone is well compensated for every extra hour they put in. And like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit of our company generates in 2020 will be split directly amongst the team. So I think that's an important thing to take into consideration here as well, because they are being fairly compensated. Now, we can talk about whether or not it's fair to keep employees overtime mandatorily for the sake, but they're getting compensated. And one thing that was pointed out to me yesterday when talking to our community member Demos about it, they are in Europe, which has a very different labor structure than we have. They get better vacation hours, they get better benefits all around working in their company, especially I guess in Poland as well. And which is something I did not take consideration of when I first knee-jerk reactions to this, this article. So, and they're doing a profit sharing of this game, and this game is going to sell gangbusters. I think we all know that. I think we're all going to assume we know that it's going to be a crazy high release.
You got to take stuff like crunch into context. I mean, it's not slave labor. I mean, that's what people get in their mind. They think of indentured servitude or slave labor or a sweatshop the minute, I made that joke earlier that we should title the show that, but that's not proper context. It just isn't.
But at the same time, we can't, I hate it when I see people who see this news go, oh, well, I work hard all the time. They should just be happy that they have jobs and just take it and just do the work. And I'm like, no, that's not how we should be looking at things. I don't agree with
that at all.
We should not be overworking people just for the sake of work is good, and they should be happy they have jobs. That's not an object to working, right? Go ahead, Trip.
Yeah, crunch is very, very prevalent in a lot of communities where things are developed, especially the tech industry, right? That's probably the most notorious crunch. But the problem is in the tech industry, everyone's compensated six figures. Game developers are dramatically underpaid for the work that they put in. The amount of money that they're getting compensated in Poland is not what's going on in the United States. There are not rules that are the equivalent of that here. A lot of times people are forced to work these crunch hours with no other monetary benefit because they're salaried or they're contractor where they don't have to get bonuses or anything like that. I know this surfaced recently, air quotes, when Red Dead Redemption was being crunched, and Rockstar is almost always under fire for this. I think CDPR is a little bit of a gamer's favorite studio because they do a lot of goodwill things for gamers, right? Free DLC, games that are
DRM free.
DRM free. There's not microtransactions, which I'm kind of ambivalent to, but a lot of people find really really strong stances about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know who those people are.
I don't know them.
I don't know, man. The issue is that because this is Cyberpunk and because it's CDPR, I feel like people are doing a lot of mental gymnastics to justify this versus just, again, condemning a really, really toxic culture that doesn't belong to gaming, doesn't belong to tech. I mean, belongs to capitalism. But at that point, then you start talking about how pointless and how much of a struggle it is to even change the entire working atmosphere. But that's an entirely different discussion. We can keep it on gaming. But I feel like there is a double standard here. People are like, they're getting paid. It's 6 weeks out. It's it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. They're okay. When we like throw the pitchforks at Ubisoft and Rockstar and all these people.
Right. It's weird. I definitely like CD Projekt Red a lot, but they don't get a pass for overworking their staff.
No, they shouldn't.
Well, I don't know the situation. I've never worked in a studio like this, or like Rockstar, or like CD Projekt, so I don't know what the work conditions are like. Like, I don't know if it's like the Rockstar, or what was it? Was it EA, like the Mass Effect BioWare team? They were like, it was either Rockstar or BioWare, where they were like, the wives of these developers wrote to the company saying,
that was Rockstar.
That was Rockstar? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was Red Dead Redemption 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they wrote these letters saying, "Please let our husbands come home. We miss
our husbands.
We're not seeing our family."
Yeah,
right?
they created a letter writing campaign against the Rockstar executives. Yep.
So yeah, we also don't know if these employees also are like, I love putting my heart and soul into this game. I want to make sure this is the best thing, and I love being there, and I will stay late at my job in order to make this great. I don't know. Yeah.
I think we can count on that. I think there are people that are crafting this game, and it's a labor of love, and they don't hate that they're there.
Yeah, because they're doing creative shit.
Right, exactly. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that, but I'm saying that it's the entire game is an ecosystem, right? You have the people that are doing the creative love, but then you also have the people that are doing like some of the grind work in any aspect of the game, the marketing grind work, the code compiling grind work. Like, there are definitely grindy jobs that arguably have to be done more than maybe the fun, creative, I'm going to fucking drink coffee all night and like come up with this perfect design and everyone's going to love this feature. Like, that's like the romanticized version of the job. And people have that job and probably love living in their studios and their offices to get the job done, but that all trickles down and makes more work for everyone else. That's but again, it's a hard topic because there isn't an easy answer. I tried to share this tweet with you guys earlier. I know I mentioned it in our pre-show chat. Someone who works in game dev, not an employee of CD Projekt Red, but another game developer on Twitter, she was saying that the outcries for delay this game, because was essentially the internet's first reaction when they heard about this. They said, delay it, push it back. We're fine in the spring. November's packed. And I was like, that sounds great, actually. I'm cool for a delay. Like, send it back.
Why not?
Excuse me. She was like, that's not the answer most of the time, because that's going to cost more money in wasted development, in wasted advertising, and having to correct a whole bunch of things. Longer like salaries that we weren't budgeted for this project to take another.
Game's already been delayed twice,
4 months, right, or whatever it might be. And so I wish I saved the link because I would have loved to reread the entire thread. But one of the very important suggestions she had was to cut scope of the project. And I think
on scope.
That's a great idea in how to make this kind of crunch issue less important. And scope meaning like you're cutting stuff out of the game to make it more reasonable. Right? Because of course right now, now they've kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Said they've cut stuff out of the game, like the
at this point, when you're sending the game to be certified on consoles, you can't cut features. It's in there. You're locked in. You're bug hunting at this point, right? That's all you can do. But yeah, a feature planning could definitely be cut back on a lot of these projects, and I don't think people would miss. Like, if they started out from the gate and said, we're like, internally, let's get rid of the district in the city. Like, it'll save us months of work. Like, honestly, I would never know. The game, from what I've seen in every single Night City Wire demo video, preview, hands-on, whatever the fuck, the game already looks so in-depth, and we know it's going to be a vertical game as well as like a sprawling map kind of game. There's going to be so much to see and do. None of us are going to do it. We're not going to do everything in this game.
No.
I have not done everything in Skyrim, and I have hundreds of hours.
Not.
I'm probably gonna spend the first like 72 hours playing the game just like hanging out in brothels. That's pretty much it.
Right. Exactly. So cutting the scope of a project could be a good way to handle like this push.
Especially if there's a mini game. I mean, which is fucking
Just live in there.
like a sex mini game or something.
Right.
God, we can only hope. We can only hope for that.
No. The one thing I was going to say is, how do we know that the crunch concept, if pushed back, isn't similar to like the problem of like of highway traffic? You know, like everyone always thinks that like if you just keep widening the highway, that it's going to not have traffic. But like traffic is always going to be there no matter how wide you make it, because the cars just fill in the lanes, right?
What's the analogy of widening?
I'm getting
the
to
lane?
it. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
So if you push back crunch, they still have to push the game out. So there's always going to, if you keep pushing the end zone back, you're still going to have an end zone.
Oh, you mean like just delaying the game?
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's not
Like
really.
it's the nature of getting something to market in an efficient amount of time. If you push it back, there's going to be a crunch in 6 months. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, this. It all comes down to, I think, how you manage a project. Literally, why you can get a degree in project management. Like there are people whose entire jobs in existence is just to kind of look at the entire bubble. Like they're not C-level executives, they're not game directors, they're not the people doing the artwork, but they just exist to be like, okay, we want to launch now. We have this much money. We have this many parts of the project. Here's all the spinning gears. Here's how we're going to frame this and make it all work. Right? Personally, I think it's a project management issue. So it's on them really to find ways around the crunch by planning better for this like down the gauntlet.
Right. So it seems to be
that they'll
like
get into.
a long time ago at some game company or multiple game companies all simultaneously at once, that project management was a fail that resulted in people crunching hard, and then it became this like culturally accepted thing that just became a part of every company's philosophy almost. You know, because we don't even know with developers who are crazy about it, who are actually into it. It might be like this like on the edge like
Adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when people are working under crunch, they might do their best work ever. And
yeah, I was gonna say, I bet people sometimes can't get work done unless those conditions
unless
are there.
they got pressure from someone above, like, you know, crunching.
On the other side of that, there is burnout.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
totally.
burn yourself out from that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that's what I think people are getting mad at.
but if you're also
get burned
if
out,
you're fighting on the front lines of a battle and you're doing it well, you there's a potential burnout in that situation. You know what I mean? With intense pressure on your head. So I'm saying any circumstance in life where you're trying to accomplish something under intense pressure is going to give you some kind of crazy adrenaline. You know, like, and that's might be what's happening for a lot of the people who do enjoy the time period of crunch, and why it has been baked into the culture of most gaming companies. Because if it came down to Trip, I know you said that project management could be the issue here, but if it came down to project management being the one, you know, surefire fix for all of this, you wouldn't have every single company having this incompetent problem. You know what I mean? Like every company just coincidentally always fucking, it's like they're doing their homework the night before the fucking test or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, like they can't all be fucking up their project management that goddamn bad.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
it's something baked into the culture to do it this way. Like, leave something to work hard on at the very last minute, you know? And I'm not defending crunch. I'm not defending if this is damaging lives. I think going back to our original point of crunch needs to be taken in goddamn context. You have to like realize that, is the company paying people well for this? Are they providing them breaks periodically, even though they're there 6 days a week? Are they getting adequate breaks? You know, like if you take it in the proper context, then who's going to have that but the company employees themselves? I think a big tell-all is if you have a company doing crunch, which might ethically be on the border, you know, in the gray or whatever. If you have a company doing crunch, but you don't have anyone complaining from the company, then maybe they're doing crunch right. You know, It's not necessarily that crunch is a bad thing. It's that some companies just fuck up the process and they don't do it right, and they take advantage of their employees. And that's
Well,
why
that's always the worry.
Yeah.
The worry
And
is being
it's the
taken
worry.
advantage of, and how to protect your employees
Right.
from the employer. And that brings up the union conversation, which is now back in full force, like having game developers unionize.
I still think I 100% think the entire game industry has to go through a disgusting revolution that incorporates the creation of unions. I think unions they're due. I mean, all the other major industries that went through a lifespan, at least 100-year lifespan, which gaming industry hasn't even been fucking 40 or 50, not even half. It's not even like half a century,
Right.
but it's been around. I think it has to go through a huge like revolution where people are pissed as fuck, and like it ends up happening.
Yep.
Where they bring unions about. I don't know how they're going to do it because corporate culture is a harder. Factory culture is a different culture to bring up unions. Corporate culture. Where corporations are trying to maximize profits and minimize their overhead, and are legally protected by the government to do that because they're essentially considered people, right? Protected with their own free speech and their own fucking rights. Like, I mean, the fact that at least the U.S. government has taken steps to protect a corporation's integrity, meaning like their disingenuous integrity. Like, if the fact that the government's gone to steps to do that means that forcing an individual to make like to unionize is just it's a nightmare in this political climate. I mean, fucking with a goddamn head of a corporation as our fucking president. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be fucking hard.
Oh yeah. That's why in the beginning I brought up the context of they aren't an American corporation, right? Right. That is also important context to take into consideration for CD Projekt.
Which I don't think it's fair to call Europe more socialist. I don't know if I fully agree with that. They're still capitalist.
No, I don't think so.
But like they do seem to be focused more on quality of life when it comes to their corporate model. Their corporate model for European companies. I know that for a fact because my cousin lives in Europe and moved to Europe for this reason. I think she loves the culture of Europe, on the whole, in terms of like the art and like the language and how people behave and all that stuff. But at the same time, she was working for major American corporations when she fucking left the goddamn country and got the fuck out of here. And she never wants to come back because of how fucking horrible the corporate culture was to her when she worked here. So, and
it's pretty bad here, man, across the board.
She's been a lot happier since she left in 2007. So it's 13 years.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives overseas in France, and she loves working in that country because she doesn't worry about her health. She doesn't worry about getting put out on the street by losing a job. The country takes care of the people.
Yeah,
which is a wild thing to think about. And so if she loses her job, she doesn't have to worry about if I get sick, what do I do? If I need to get my medication filled, what do I do? Like, those are things that we don't consider when taking CD Projekt into consideration.
No, but Neo, I'm not even talking like that's a whole other conversation. Talking about like how the government approaches like respecting its citizens in terms of employment. I'm talking about how the corporate culture of Europe seems to care about the employees that are working for the companies more than the average American corporation.
Oh yeah, I mean they offer better vacation time. They offer like mandatory 1 month at least vacation time is what a lot of those European countries give you.
I'll tell you,
it's nuts.
I'll tell you one thing. This is personal in my own life. Just so you guys know, and I'll say it on the show, but I don't have to give you more details. I'm now an uncle. Just so you know.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So that happened. That happened literally yesterday, and now I have a niece.
Hey.
But
wow.
But my sister was worried that she was going to have her baby before October 1st, because just recently Donald Trump. This is actually baked into one of his fucking executive orders or whatever the fuck he does in Washington D.C. Donald Trump actually could have potentially benefited my family because he finally signed in a thing to say that government employees who work for the U.S. government, she works for the U.S. government, will get maternity leave, paid maternity leave. like that is extended. Extended
Mhm.
maternity leave, a realistic amount of time, in other words, because before they didn't.
Yeah,
U.S.
maternity leave
government
was terrible.
Yeah, the U.S. government didn't get it, and Donald Trump was responsible for signing it in, but it didn't take effect until October 1st, and she goes and has her baby on the 29th.
God, there's no
Rip.
way. Is there really no way that she can be like, look,
Oh
guys,
yeah, it's called tell the hospital to fudge that fucking date.
there you go, bingo. Honey, tell her when you're older. Your birthday isn't actually on this day. It's actually 2 days later.
It's a super,
every
super long
year
labor.
they're celebrating 2 days before what it officially
Yeah,
says on the
48-hour
on the-
labor.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
right. But like,
Oh man.
I mean, I asked her if she made her peace with it. She said yeah, but I don't know. Like, she's gonna have to fucking figure something out for the maternity, I think.
That's
Yeah.
so stupid.
I mean, yeah, circling back to
But yeah, that went off topic
the
because I started
influence-
talking about government.
Well,
Sorry,
no,
about that.
but it's a good point because like that's a government mandated improvement to a working condition that the company wouldn't have done on their own. And to circle back to this conversation about crunch, the only reason that they're getting paid, they're guaranteed getting paid, not even the 10% profit sharing, which is great. It's a fantastic move by CD Projekt Red to take 10% of the sales and put it back into all of the employees, not just, executive bonuses, but not even including that, they're getting paid for this. They're getting paid overtime for these hours. Companies in the United States don't do that. Game companies don't do that for crunch.
I have worked two jobs that I was forced to work overtime due to my job, and I had to do it off the clock because a company did not have the hours to give, but they had the work that they needed to be done. And on top of that, or you know what? I'll just straight up tell you, I worked for GameStop for a while, right? And we had to do lots of marketing moves, lots of marketing changes, but they only allot each store a certain amount of hours for every employee, right?
Mhm.
This had to get done, but if you're the only person working in a store and you have customers to help, you cannot do both at the same time. You have to make the sales and reach those sales goals that they require of you, and do all the marketing changes and all the store refreshes that they want you to do. So what do you do when you don't have the hours to fill and you have to do both jobs at the same time? You work after the clock when the store is closed to get it done overnight. And we did that multiple times. And I brought it up to the district manager once. I was like, "Hey, I just want you to know, I was here till like 1 or 2 a.m. last night, like doing what I had to do to get it done." He's like, "You know what? I don't need you to tell me that. I'm glad you got it done, but I don't want to hear that because it's not my business." And I'm like, "You're a fucking asshole because you just want the store to do well in your numbers for your district. You son of a bitch."
Yeah,
And yeah,
GameStop
that
is a
shit sucks.
fantastic example on how not to run a business. And even all these moves were cost cutting moves, obviously, and they're still going down the drain. So
Yeah.
we know they're just absolute fucking trash. But I mean, I don't think anyone on this show or anyone listening to this show has not crunched in some capacity in their job.
Yeah. But look, on the positive side of that, my second job where I've worked over hours, I was getting salary. So I didn't make more for working past my allotted time that I was supposed to work. But at the same time, I was doing like networking, cabling work and redoing servers after hours till like 1 or 2 in the morning again. Maybe actually, I think one night I got home at like 3 a.m. doing this. And I was less upset about doing that work because A, I guess it's something I enjoyed a lot more. And B, it was like it made me feel good about tomorrow. I get to go in a little bit later. They let me go in later. That was nice. But like, I get to go in and feel proud of what I did. Like, hey, I made this all run better. I redid these systems and I made them like better for the company. And I felt a lot better about that than the way GameStop treated me. I guess just at a comparison point.
If you A, like where you work, and B, find pride in the project that you're doing, that's going to make the work seem not as much like work. Hence, you're more okay with doing more for that company. You're getting value out of that, Yeah. You're contributing and you're getting value, like not just monetarily, you're getting other value to you. You're getting pride, you're getting a sense of accomplishment, like that's all.
Well, just like EA wants you to feel.
Like psychological payment, not that I'm advocating like to not pay people and just making them feel good about it, but like that's why people are just so into working for this stuff if they find personal pride in these projects. And you find that a lot in the game industry. Obviously it's like like passion projects for a lot of people. You know, like imagine you're crafting Cyberpunk and you know just millions of people are going to get to play this and
they're going to
fall in love with this world. You know, that would keep me going for sure.
Yeah,
But
I can imagine that they're really excited.
I think I think it was you who said this earlier, Felix. I apologize if it was Neo, but we have to take into consideration how the people that are doing this job feel.
Oh yeah, it was
about
me.
the crunch. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because like I said,
it's great that we can talk about this, but we're all talking for them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, like you know, if there's poison in the anthill, the ants are gonna come fucking out. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, my analogies. My analogies are just off the fucking chain tonight.
As long as they land, they can take as long as they need to get to where they're going. But as long as they land, I'm cool with it.
Me too. I'm okay with it as well. Well, damn. Yeah, I guess context is key in this situation, right? We have to case by case basis, as they say, right?
Yeah, with all things, context for sure. But I think we agree that we need to just fucking, especially this year, man. Like the way 2020 has had people work. Like the conversation about how we work as humans is taking a lot of different angles. And I think there's a lot that could be done so much better for productivity and just for mental health altogether. You know, like the conversation has to shift entirely because the status quo ain't it, Chief.
No diggity. No diggity. Well, I think that's a good conversation.
I think it's a great place to cut it out.
Hell yeah.
How does it go?
Whatever.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
Cut it.
Why does the thumbs up mean it?
No. It's cut, and then you point to it. It's cut it out, and the thumb goes back.
Oh, that's what it is. It's cut it
out. Yeah, cut it out. Fucking. If you aren't watching on Twitch, we are actively doing cut it out. So
do you know there's
next week if you're listening on audio only, tune in at twitch.tv/emergent_gamer.
It's funny you brought that up though, because what was that guy's name? Joey?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. He was like the brother in Full House, right? Or the friend or the weird guy that used to like hang out.
Full disclosure, I don't actually know where cut it out's from.
It's from Full House.
I recognize it.
It's from Full House. Dave Coulier. It's Dave Coulier.
His okay. Name. Got it.
So real fun fact, and we're wrapping the show up, I know. But the real fun fact is supposedly the fucking song You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette is about Dave Coulier.
Oh, shit. That's wild.
Like that she used to date him and he was a dick to her, so she wrote You Ought to Know. That's supposedly the rumor.
Okay, well, last thing, there was a podcast I listened to, they're like a movie talk podcast. They had a segment of their show, like a random segment called Dave Coulier, and they talked about all the dickhead things that Dave Coulier used to do or whenever he was in the news.
Evidently he's a dick.
Apparently so.
I don't know. He was mean to Alanis Morissette, and I'd like her.
I'm gonna sign us out.
Yeah, do
it. All right. I've been Neo Ayoshi. You can follow me at Neo_Ayoshi on Twitter, Neo Ayoshi on Twitch.tv. Check out our YouTube as well. It is popping over there as well. Playing games all week. I kind of have a schedule now. It's pretty great. I'm gonna post it on my Twitter soon when I make it all pretty. But yeah, that is that. Expect more Mario and Warzone, more shooting games. All right. Trip.
Guys, I am Trip Zero. You can find me on Trip Zero TV on all the socials, twitch.tv/Trip Zero TV. I am playing Watch Dogs 2 on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays on my channel. So check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Felix?
I'm at Felix Hergood on Twitter. You can catch me at Twitch at Felix Hergood. Jesus fuck.
Bless you.
Jesus fuck. When I get back to streaming, I am playing a plethora of different games. I'm playing Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online. I'm playing Fallout 76. I'm playing the Mafia series. I'm playing the Batman Arkham series right now. There's a whole randomness of potential games that I could come back to streaming. I also still play the 2020 season of the Phillies on MLB The Show. So there's I play an assortment.
Sports fans everywhere, thank you.
I play an assortment and variety of fucking games. So I'll be back. I don't know when.
And that's it.
Well, that's it.
Later.
Stop listening.
See you
Turn
next
your
week.
radio off. Turn your iPod off. Whatever.
Have
Goodbye.
a blessed week.